we can go in time to the end 1760s, early 1770s, and we can go in one specific place or territory, is Guanajuato state. In that moment in La Nueva España, in 18th century, Guanajuato was the most rich, dynamic states in La Nueva España. Everything in relation with the mining in Guanajuato City,
Yep.
and everything in relation with the interesting and rich agriculture in El Bajío. And we can go in one specific village, is San Miguel El Grande, and we can go on one specific streets in that village. I think beautiful, spectacular village in that moment with the rich Hispanic families. The corner is in the side from La Parroquia, and one Hispanic family, Allende. And we can go a few blocks in San Francisco Street, one family, Aldama. So babies born in that moment, at the case Ignacio Aldama and Juan Aldama, that specific generations with different education and the impact from the illustration coming from Spain to La Nueva España. We can go now to short the history and jump to early 19th century, when those kids, they grow in San Miguel, they had education in San Miguel, and now early 19th century adults and high sensibility to understand the powerful, gigantic country they born in America, La Nueva España, and Guanajuato, one of the most dynamic state and rich states in La Nueva España, and it's so clear to see the social class was out of balance. They can see so clear the El Virreinato government, they had all the control.
Yep.
The Catholic,
Yeah.
the same. The rich Hispanic family, the same. Land, opportunities, and money, and everything. But here in Guanajuato was so clear to observe the low class. In many cases, Native Americans, they were working in levels, in many cases, to be like slaves. If we go to Guanajuato in that moment, people working brutal. If we go to El Bajío and those farming agricultural haciendas, the same. And here around San Miguel, there's a lot of people, poor people, with no opportunities for education. So it's so interesting to how these people connect with one mestizo priest. Isn't that the sculptor? Miguel Hidalgo. Miguel Hidalgo in that moment, he was practicing his career in La Villa de la Virgen de los Dolores. Yes, Dolores Hidalgo City in this moment. For one reason in them's life, they connect. And for one reason in them's personality lives, they agree about, something was bad. Well, the history mentioned about some private reunions somewhere in San Miguel, and I try to imagine maybe those respect Sundays after the Mass, maybe Ignacio after the Mass, maybe knock the door in the dressing room, La Sacristia, maybe say good morning to the priest Miguel, and he said, well, Miguel, I have one really good mezcal wine in my house, and I think Juan and Ignacio, they come into my reunion in the house, and we have one visiting from one lady in San Miguel, Doña Josefa. Doña Josefa was really important, social in that moment, because she was married with one important political person from Querétaro, El Corregidor. So we said, well, let's go to drink a little mezcal wine and a hot chocolate at night, and let's go to talk. Private conversations in private is the only way to do it in La Nueva España in that moment. They lock the doors, windows, and everything, and say, well, let's go to drink mezcal, salud. Well, that's so bad, the situation we have in our country. We have a lot of natural resources. Guanajuato, one of the most rich states in La Nueva España, but feels like we are really stuck. News entrance from Europe and North America with a small country, states in that moment. They tried to progress with democratic ideas. France in that moment impact tremendous America with La Nueva España, and people in France, they tried to organize this explosion industrial. And people in France, they have more freedom for expressions. But here in Nueva España, here in Guanajuato, here in San Miguel, be careful how you open your mouth. So I think it's too much. I think it could be nice to maybe break this hacienda system and make La Nueva España independent from the mother Spain. You know, the only way to do is maybe fighting. You know, it's too much. We can maybe help this Native American class and just broke those chains. You know, we can make one medium class. But always happen one bad moment when bad luck happen. One powerful ear listen those conversations in front, behind the window, behind the door, and the big rumor is going direct to El Virrey de la Nueva España in Mexico City. And I think big surprise entrance in that office when the news entrance in that office, you know. The beautiful respect San Miguel el Grande and the way to Guanajuato City with the important families, la familia Canal, la familia Sauto, la familia La Sagorda, la familia Allende, la familia Canal, kids and those families in combination with one priest, Don Miguel, they are going to organize this conspiration to your government. Well, the Virrey immediately said, well, prepare the powerful Hispanic army, shift Guanajuato if it's possible, find those guys, bring it, and kill it. Nobody have the freeness to make this conspiration to me. And I born and I grew up in San Miguel, and I try to imagine in many cases when I walk in those streets at night, walking home, and say, well, how this happened? You know, the small village, and for sure all the families know one to another. Don Manuel de la Canal, Hispanic, successful, rich person in San Miguel, bro, he said, well, you know, I'm sorry for my neighbor, Allende, they're in trouble because they opened really big that mouth. Well, they don't have another choice. It's so interesting now to observe the history for this priest, Miguel. He feel in that scandal they start, big high responsibility to guide this war, and made difficult relationships with Ignacio and the brothers Aldama. Miguel, he studied in those famous seminaries in Valladolid to be one really successful priest. But in that moment, his life changed dramatic. He need to, with no experience, make this scandal and try to make this independence come true. But we have another important date in the history, it's famous, we call El Grito. This happened in 1810, September 15, when Miguel he really wanted to start the match. And in La Villa de la Virgen de los Dolores, in that village, ringing the bells, and people maybe taking the clock and say, well, it's not time for rosary, it's not time for mass, let's see what's going on. Miguel, the priest, he saw a few people here say, well, that's enough, I'm ready to start this scandal. And he said, well, this is the time to finish with this bad government, this is the time to finish with these rich Hispanic families, Viva Fernando VII, and start. Next day, it's important in this space, when between La Villa de la Virgen de los Dolores and Atotonilco was important hacienda, important in agriculture and big gigantic territory. The owners in that moment, they offer space and food for people. I think it was really impact, surprised the owners when they saw Miguel with a lot of people behind start to make this scandal. But the good relationship they had, the owners offered space and food. And Miguel, he made one of the last masses in his life under one mesquite tree. And after that, they come in this direction. Here happens something really interesting because Miguel is smart. I think more people coming in the group, and the rumor is spread to neighbors and las haciendas and say, well, the priest started this scandal and, you know, we're going to fight. And he mentioned one person, Fernando VII, I don't know this guy, but I follow him. We don't have any guns, but I have one machete under my bed. Well, that's enough. And they come in with big scandal here. Miguel, the priest, enters in the church, enters in the dressing room, and he find inside one card oil painting by La Virgen de Guadalupe. Important Catholico religious image, and Miguel had the idea to take that image out and show everybody. La Virgen de Guadalupe is going to help to finish with this bad government, is going to finish with these rich Hispanic families. Viva la Virgen de Guadalupe, and the big scandal is going direct to San Miguel. I grew up in that village, and I try to imagine also the Ignacio, the brothers Aldama, who born in that village, and they start the big scandal in the village they born. I try to imagine the really big sad accept the logistic start to make this scandal in the village they born. I think what's probably so painful for them, but they don't have any choice because the logistic was. Well, let's go to start this in la hacienda de la R. Let's go to Totonilco, la Virgen de Guadalupe, and let's go to start to find San Miguel. For sure, a lot of innocent people die. I don't know how that happened, but it happened. And they know they don't have any guns, and they know they need people, and they know, well, let's go to start to find San Miguel, and after 10 miles south San Miguel, start El Bajío. El Bajío was blessed by Mother Nature thousands years ago with volcanic active minerals in that soil. Was a lot of concentration in agricultural cities. So was a lot of concentration in people there. So let's go to touch Celaya City and turn west to Irapuato, Salamanca, Silao City, and after let's go to entrance to Guanajuato City. To make the long history short in this circle, the entrance to Guanajuato